Hello and welcome to this week's GG Weekend Watch, kindly sponsored by SBK, with your usual team of Daryl Carter, Andrew Matt, and myself, to look forward to one of the biggest races of the entire season, the blue ribbon of the turf season. Yes, it is the 2020 Derby meeting at Epsom this weekend. Not only that, though, it is the Queen's Platinum Jubilee celebrations as well. And one of us has gone all out. I don't know who exactly. I don't know what's giving it away. One of us has at least made an effort anyway, royalists over here. But we have plenty, of course, to look forward to. We're also going to be covering a couple of races from the Friday as well as we record on Thursday afternoon. So, of course, we can't forget about the Oaks as well for the fillies, then for their day in the sun on the Friday. So plenty to look forward to, of course. We had 3 winners then last weekend, and I've completely forgotten what they are. So you're going to have to reiterate this, lads, because all I remember is Boardman winning as Kate's nap. Daryl also sided with Boardman. Andrew, you had Russell at 11-2 winning. And I forget who the last
I'm a gambler.
I'm a gambler. There you go. Thank you.
Not a statement. It was the name of a horse.
At least you finally admitted it. I hope it feels good to
and
get it out.
I have got some decorations. I've got a wilting daisy here that my daughter picked for me a couple of days ago. So yeah, that's for you, Your Majesty.
Well, if that doesn't honour a lifetime of service from the Queen to this country, then I don't know what else will. So thank you, Andrew, and to your daughter as well for providing that. Right, we had better then crack on with the racing, and we're going to begin then on Friday, as I say, at Epsom with the 310. This is the Group 1 Coronation Cup for 4-year-olds and over a mile 4, where the wonderful Pyledriver bids to defend his crown here on the back of his gallant win, of course, in this race last year. And if he does win this race again, he'll be the first horse to win back-to-back Coronation Cup since St. Nicholas Abbey. So, Andrew, Pyledriver, real fan favourite. Can he win this race for a second year running?
Yeah, very possibly. He was 8-1 last year, where obviously nothing like that sort of price now, around about 15-8. He's gone up in the official ratings by £3 in the interim. We didn't see him after Epsom until November, when he won on the all-weather at Lingfield. Since then, he's been globe-trotting. He's run with credit in Hong Kong and Meydan. Frankie Dettori on board. I thought he's got every chance. I mean, there should be quite a bit of pace in this race, despite the small field. You've got a few who can go forward. High definition, though. I mean, he was 2 from 2 in his first couple of juvenile outings, and then he's 0 from 7 since. He needs a sort of decent gallop. I mean, he might get it, but I still couldn't have him at 9-2. I was struggling with that. And the one I thought was the danger was Hukum, who, since they put the tongue tie on, he's had 6 runs, 4 wins, a second by a neck, and a 7th in the Dubai Shima Classic when he was beaten less than 2 lengths. So I thought Pyledriver over Hukum was the way to go here.
Oh, like that though. But yeah, Hukum, he's sort of interesting though in this race, isn't he? But behind Pyledriver then to probably defend his crown for Andrew. Daryl, any strong opinions on this race?
I see this very, very similar to, as Andrew's just mentioned. Hukum and Pyledriver actually met in the Shima Classic last time over at Meydan. Pyledriver came out on top on that occasion. He got no run up the inside, but Pyledriver can just hang a little bit to his left, and he did that in the Shima Classic, and Frankie Dettori ran up the backside of another horse and then didn't put the effort in for whatever reason to try and switch him out to try and make his challenge. So he sort of finished under a bit of a hands and heels ride there. Now, when Pyledriver won this race last year, he didn't for 1 minute really handle this track. I mean, he was all over the show. It was the same when he ran in the Derby here. He was sort of all over the show, and he does hang left, and he's done it both times at Epsom. So I thought it was interesting race because he's the right favourite. He's the best horse in the race, in my opinion. But last year, Martin Dwyer gave him a brilliant ride. He spun right round the outside just as they were approaching the home straight, so that he could get on the rail, knowing that he hangs to the left, and that camber, forces you to the left anyway. So he's going to have to be on the rail, I think.
Well, I think it's because of the soft ground. Are they going to come stand side in the straight on Oaks Day? That was the concern with me. I mean, they were calling it good to soft in places. And usually when it's that soft, you want to be drawn high coming down the stand side rail. So, yeah, if he does hang left and they take that route, he's going to end up in no man's land in the middle of the track. So,
exactly.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, there's even if they come to the other side, the normal side, he's going to have to be in front probably to get that route. Because I can't see him making up ground when he's hanging to the left like that, because there's going to be no gaps on the inside. it might just end up finishing again under a hands and heels ride, and that would be my concern backing him, especially with Frankie Dettori on board. And I don't want to keep digging out Frankie Dettori, but he's not a guy that's going to throw the kitchen sink at this horse for you. So if things are not going straight forward, you know, I think he's going to trade bigger in running. I think if you want to back Pyledriver, I think you back him in running now at this price. High Definition actually made the running last time at the Curragh. He's just, for me, that was a career best performance on all known figures for High Definition. So there is an underlying ability there that Aidan O'Brien has said about him. So there is definitely more to come from him. But whether or not it's here, up in trip again,
I just realised what the letters on your T-shirt stand for, Daryl. Frankie's crap, you know.
You know.
I'll tell you what, it's not far off. So I actually came down the side of Hukum simply on the back fact that he does take a little while to get going over this trip. He takes a little bit more time to get going through the gears, but he's going to have a very strong pace to aim at. He wasn't too far behind Pyledriver in the Shima Classic last time, and he's just bloody straightforward. And I think this race, there is a lot of horses in here that are not straightforward, including the likes of Minobo, who I think is more of an Ascot Gold Cup horse than a Coronation Cup horse. So I think he's rock solid, Hukum, and I think he's a good bet actually in this particular race.
Oh, like it a lot then, yeah. So Hukum to bridge that gap then that he had with Pyledriver from last time out from the Shima Classic. And I know, Daryl, as soon as you wore that top today, I was just waiting. I could see the cogs working in Andrew's mind. So I just knew it was that was a red rag to a bull by wearing that, Daryl. So thanks for that.
Am I that
both
predictable?
people in agreement about Hukum, but Andrew also not being put off then by Pyledriver's chances all the same. Pretty intriguing race though. That is at 3:10. Right, we move on to the big one on Friday. This is the Group 1 Oaks for the 3-year-old fillies over 1 mile, of course. This is at 4:30, where Emily Upjohn is a very strong favourite here on the back of her Musadora win. So she is short here, Daryl. Is she too short for you?
Yeah, she is too short. Look, we've all got a pair of eyes in our head. We all know when we see a pretty decent horse or we see a very decent performance. But just when you go up to Group 1 level, you sort of then need some sort of substance to back that up. There is no real substance in any of her runs today in the form at all. The Musadora last time at York was a really poor race, really, in comparison to the renewals previously. She did it with ease. Of course, she did, as her odds suggested she would have done. But she's getting very short for this Group 1 now, stepping up in distance also, which she's unproven at. So there's a few little niggles there. If the ground gets even softer than this, how she's going to handle it is another concern. So, I mean, I've seen a lot better 5-4 shots or whatever she is at the moment. The other thing just to mention with her, she was quite keen in the Musadora. And I know Frankie was saying, oh, well, she was doing it, but she was responding and she was just eager to get on with the race. It's going to be the hustle and bustle and Epsom Oaks and the crowd. And I don't know. There's just a few little niggly doubts for me with Emily Upjohn. I actually think the most talented horse in the field is Nashwa. The yard's other runner. I think her substance to her form is very, very strong in the context of this particular race, and especially in the context of in comparison to Emily Upjohn. The just concern with her is whether or not she's going to stay the trip, whether or not her action really is suited by Epsom. So that's a slight concern. I have backed her. I thought 4-1 was too big. I thought she should be shorter than that. And if she doesn't handle the track and she doesn't stay the trip, then so be it. But she's got a very, very smart turn of foot, and she will give herself every chance of getting this trip by the way she settles in her race. And the one just at a bigger price that I've backed is Concert Hall. I'm surprised that Ryan Moore has chosen to ride Tuesday in this and not Concert Hall. Concert Hall's dam won this 9 years ago. She stepped up in trip from the 1,000 Guineas up to this Epsom Oaks trip and won it. This horse has been absolutely screaming to go up to 1.5 miles. Absolutely screaming. The best work this horse did in the 1,000 Guineas came right at the death of the race last time when just outpaced in the midsection. Go back to her Navan seasonal return run. She was staying on very strongly over 1.2 miles there. She has got loads more to come, Concert Hall, over 1.5 miles. She would be the way I'd play. Yeah, I mean, each way play for her. If you can still get 4-1 about Nashwa, I would have a cover bet on Nashwa, but with the main play to be Concert Hall.
Oh, like it then. So, yeah, so taking on Emily Upjohn with Nashwa, and then Concert Hall of the Aidan O'Brien runners. But yeah, for Nashwa, obviously Holly Doyle riding, what a momentous win that would then be for the sport. That would be really quite something. So Andrew, do you agree similarly to take on Emily Upjohn or siding with her?
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me if she bolted up. I'm not particularly rushing to back her at sort of even money, 5-4, whatever she is now. There are a few other angles. I mean, this race has obviously been dominated by the Gosdens and Aidan O'Brien. In the last 10 years, they've shared 9 renewals between them. Only Talent for Rafe Beckett has broken the sequence. Now, Rafe Beckett has got Moon de Vega here, who was only 4th in the Cheshire Oaks last time, but she got absolutely mullered on the inside rail and had to wait an age for a run, by which time the 3 who beat her had flown off a steady pace. And although she was beaten 6 or so lengths that day, I still thought that was an encouraging effort. So I wouldn't put you off backing Moon de Vega each way.
Just on that Cheshire Oaks form, does it not worry you? I mean, I took a dim view of it simply on the fact that Typewriter came into the race rated 79, and she's been put up to what, 95, I think. Coming on the back of that race, on the back of finishing a four-length third. Same with Moon de Vega. She came into the race rated 80. She's been put up to a handicap mark of 95 on the back of that for finishing 4th. When really, if you look at those two handicap ratings, 79 and 80, they probably are about right, aren't they?
Well, we're only looking for a third. You can be beaten like 10, 15 lengths and still get third in the Oaks. So that's all we're talking about. Just a horse who might be a bit of value for a place. So I'm not saying lump on or anything. But that's one punting angle. The other one is to look at Aidan O'Brien's horses, perm them for an exactor or a tote swinger, perhaps. Mm-hmm. I mean, in the last 5 years, Aidan O'Brien's had 2 horses in the first 3 in the Oaks. Even when he hasn't won it in that time, he's had the 2nd and 3rd. So, given his tactical nous, you'd think 1 or 2 of his are probably going to be there or thereabouts as well. So there are a few angles, and if Emily Upjohn isn't as good as everyone says she is, then certainly from sort of place pots or exotic bets, there are a few angles here. So it wasn't. I've not had a bet in the race, but if you gave me £2, it'd be £1 each way. Moon de Vega.
Oh, like it then. Yeah, I mean, to be fair, she's a fair price herself, 33-1, then Moon de Vega for Andrew. And I do have a selection. It's a main selection. I'm taking you on, Daryl. I'm taking you on then with Tuesday to uphold that form with Concert Hall. I'm glad that Ryan Moore has chosen her anyway, in my opinion here, because I thought she ran an absolute corker in the Irish 1,000 Guineas behind Homeless Songs, who I just think is a very smart filly. And the Coronation Stakes at Royal Ascot looks hers for the taking, really. And that trip, again, as we say about Concert Hall, but for Tuesday, was never going to see her to her best, like being a daughter of Galileo, then an sister to Minding. And obviously her pedigree is just impeccable out of Lily Langtry. So I think this filly...
She's a very, very young 3-year-old, though, isn't she?
Pardon?
She's a very, very, very young 3-year-old, isn't she?
When was she foaled?
I think June, was it? I think she looks. I think technically she's only just turned 3. Technically, I know every horse's birthday is on July, but speaking to Emma Kennedy, he was the one that pointed that out to me, actually, saying that she's only just turned 3. So just wonder how strong physically is she compared to the other. Also, I mean, Ryan Moore's chosen her. I can't put you off her, can I? But it's just something to note, I suppose.
Yeah, I actually was unaware of that she was only a June foal. Then, like I said, there are some beasts in here as well. I mean, Emily Upjohn looks a fair size in herself, but it is obviously something to always bear in mind then with these 3-year-olds. But so far for me, she's just shown such a wonderful attitude, and I'm going to take that more so than anything else. And I know the physical development, but sort of the sharp, nippy nature of her then in comparison to some of these bigger, potentially scopier types, I'm hoping might even play to her advantage, therefore. So I can't leave her going unbacked at that price. And also, Thoughts of June, I'm fully on the Ballydoyle bandwagon. I absolutely loved her run in the Cheshire Oaks. I really like that a lot. And I know that Above the Curve was all the talk and the fact that she can handle the track as well. But Cheshire form over that trip, taken into this race, I have to have a little savour on her anyway to run into a place, because we know that Ballydoyle's horses with the jockey bookings, it's not always gospel. Don't always completely follow that in. So yeah, there's the couple for me, Tuesday being the main selection. So Andrew, anything else from Epsom on Friday for you?
Yeah, there's a couple in the 2 o'clock, the Woodcut Stakes. I like Commander Straker, stall 12 of 12. I think they're going to try and come near side, and that draw is going to be an advantage. He's a front runner who made all at Bath last time out, where he beat Estate into second with Estate drawn next door in stall 11. I thought those two could finish 1-2 again, so that will be my exacta or computer straight forecast on the day. And in the 5-10, the listed Surrey Stakes. Couple of strong statistical pointers for this race. Last time out, winners do well. You can make a profit and back them all in the last 10 renewals. Yet there's only 2 of them, Dawn of Liberation and Base Player. And I've bet both. And horses dropping back in trip do really well. If you just backed every horse who'd run over a mile or further last time out, it was coming back to this 7 furlong trip. You'd have made a good profit, and Dawn of Liberation also qualifies on that angle, having won over a mile last time out. So I've bet Dawn of Liberation around about 5-2, and also Base Player at 18-1.
Oh, like that in the 5-10 then at Epsom for those two, but the trend's definitely in the favour of Dawn Liberation. And then in the first race in the Woodcut, Commander Straker, their horse number 2 in the 2 o'clock at Epsom for Andrew. Daryl, anything else from Epsom for you?
Yeah, probably a stronger day for me on Friday than it is on Saturday, in all honesty. All This Is Us in the 235. I've been waiting. Do you know what? Last week I put Boardman up with you guys, and then I sort of put All This Is Up as well. All This Is Us up as well, and I shouldn't have really done it. I should have just waited, because I've been waiting all season for him to come back to Epsom. He's been falling in the handicap. But I thought it was a really encouraging run at Chester last time behind Boardman. I thought he finished with running left over that 7.5 there, up to a mile and a half furlong here. I think will definitely suit him nowadays. He's got a fantastic record at the track, of course. I think I tipped it at a big price last year on this card, or on the Saturday card, to win the Group 3. He's in a handicap today off a mark of 92. He's coming to the boil. He loves Epsom. I think he's going to take all the beating in that 235. In the 5-10, Dawn Liberation. I mean, the column's already out online on the website now. Dawn Liberation's a 2-point selection tomorrow. I think he'll take a world of beating. I'm highly surprised that Oscula is a short staying to Wagyu, and that horse needs to bounce back from a well below par run in Saudi last time. So I think Dawn Liberation will take all the beating there. And was there another one? No, I think that was it, Kate.
Oh, perfect. Well, agreement then for Dawn of Liberation in the 5-10 at Epsom. And then also, Oh This Is Us, which is, fascinating, because I thought he was definitely the eye catcher of those in behind Boardman. Then last time, coming back to a course and distance he loves in the 235 at Epsom for Daryl. Right, we move on then to the Saturday, where we begin with a 0-100 handicap for 3-year-olds and over a mile 2 at 2 o'clock, which is our opening contest. A pretty open handicap at that to kick us off here, Daryl. So who do you side with?
Yeah, it's very, very difficult. I had 2 I fancied for this earlier in the week. They've both come out, which is disappointing. I've been following a lot of these 3-year-olds throughout the season, and I just couldn't find too many that were extremely well handicapped in this particular race. I came down on box to box for Hugo Palmer. Harry Davies takes off £5. Won well at Salisbury last time. Really dug deep and battled on well. That race just didn't really suit either, I didn't think. I think this horse, whatever he's done over any shorter than this 10 furlongs, I think it's going to be a middle distance horse. I think will be a bonus. I think there's plenty more to come. That was on the back of a gelding operation. He's off a mark of 81. He's gone up from 78 to 81, but Harry Davies negotiates that little bit of a rise. Now, this is a deeper race, but I think the stronger pace will definitely suit. He is probably going to be ridden quite forward in this particular contest, but I don't think he's going to stop galloping. So whether there's something good enough to beat him in there, maybe, but I think he's a genuine horse that's going to give you a good run for your money. So box to box. Just a quick mention to Taj Aloha as well. Alola, a horse I put up at a big price at Ripon last time, just came too late. This horse probably got a decent chance, but it's probably vulnerable to something a bit better at handicap. But I'd keep an eye on that. If the price drifts out, because I can see the horse going up about 20-1. If it drifts out 20-1, it might be worth a shout. But box to box be the main selection.
Yeah, so I mean, both of those two fair prices then as well. A definite each way price for box to box and Taj Alola, but mainly box to box. And it's interesting that you say about the pace angle then for this race here, because when I was initially looking at this, I thought there was going to be plenty of pace on. So I'm glad that you say about sort of not having as many concerns and about box to box, feet can carry on galloping.
Yeah.
But I wanted to side with one that was likely to be ridden further back then, and was trying to pin down a horse that was necessarily going to do that. And it is an absolute nightmare of a race, this one. But I was hoping, therefore, with Warhorse on the back of that win last time out, that he can go out again. Obviously a positive then coming into this race on the back of a win last time out. He beat the reopposing Knowlton Cross, who I'm marginally siding against and reversing that form here, because as I say, I prefer a horse that's ridden further back, I think. And so that is obviously going to be in the favour of Warhorse. And he just kept on really strongly over the 10 furlong trip at Sandown on that latest start. So I don't think he'll have much trouble over the same trip here as Epsom by any means. And his draw, obviously, for me, it isn't ideal really in 10. But if he can slot in, take a lead, should have enough room to be produced, potentially then wider down more towards the centre of a track as well. So Warhorse for me, marginally over Mr. Big Stuff and Knowlton Cross. But Andrew, who do you come down on the side of?
Yeah, this is a nightmare. You could have bet every horse in the race in the last 10 years and made a profit. We've had 2 25-1 winners, a 28-1, a 12-1. And again, you could have bet every horse who finished out of the frame last time, 5th or worse, and made a good profit as well. So, don't be put off if your horse comes here on the back of a sort of dodgy last time out effort. I mean, the going is going to dry out by the looks of it. They're saying there's thunderstorms at Epsom very early on Sunday morning. If that forecast shifts into Saturday, we could see them try to come around the outside route again, but historically, it's been low numbers. Back in every horse between stalls 2 and 6 would have made you £57.50 in the last 10 years. That's good news for box to box. And of course, there's going to be a fresh strip of ground on that far side rail, 4 yards towards the inner in the last 3 furlongs. So, and again, if they have come wide on day one, then that's it's going to be an advantage to be far side perhaps. So. Yeah, tricky. I'm going to take a stab at Stevenson at a massive price. I know he's drawn high. He was last at 5 at Haydock last time, but got out, went from the front, got outpaced, dropped back, finished last at 5, beaten only a little over 3 lengths, and his breeding suggests that the step up from a mile to 10 furlongs is going to suit. So 33-1 into 28-1 with one firm, little nibble there. So hopefully that's a positive for Stevenson.
Yeah, like I say, a few little nibbles in the market anyway, but he's still a big price. And Stevenson for Andrew horse number 11. Right, move on to the 235 at Epsom. This is the Group 3 Princess Elizabeth Stakes for 3-year-olds and over a mile and a half a furlong at 235, where Bashkarova heads the betting as the 5-2 favourite. But there look to be some fair prices about the rest of these runners then in here, Andrew. So do you side with one of those or go with the Fav?
Yeah, I understand why Bashrakova is favourite. You look at a record at this mile trip or thereabouts. Is 3 wins and a half length second from 4 starts. She was done at Goodwood last time by Miss Fitzherbert. Interesting stat in this race with last time out winners, only 1 from 19 in the last 10 years, and a big level stakes loss of over 17 quid. So maybe Roman missed, Miss Fitzherbert, Miss Marple, perhaps ones to avoid for that reason. I didn't like Petapova, the second favourite. So she seems to go well first time out. 3 runs, 2 wins and a second by a head. But on a second or subsequent start of the season, 4th, 9th and 10th. So I know she's only had 6 goes, but there is just a chance that she will go backwards from that good reappearance efforts the other week. I was quite interested in Technique. She goes extremely well when fresh. And this is the first runner, I think, when Freddie Meads had his name on the licence as well. So it's now Freddie and Martin Mead. So perhaps they've been sort of, trying to get him off to a flying start. But the one I'm going for at a price is Statement for Kevin Ryan. Now, she's an ex-Martin Mead horse. It's gone really well fresh in the past. She was second by a neck on a racecourse debut at 9-1. And then last season, first time out, second of 17, beaten a short head at 18-1. And she changed hands for 300,000 guineas last November. First run for Kevin Ryan, goes well fresh, big price, might be worth a stab.
Yeah, Statement then, which is really interesting. Like you say, for that stable switching obviously with Kevin Ryan, then now big price there, 25-1 I can see for Statement. Like that angle a lot then from Andrew. Daryl, are you thinking along similar lines, or how do you assess this race?
No, I like that. That was quite impressive again from Andrew. I like one of the 3-year-olds in the field. I like Majestic Glory. 16 runners in the last 9 years. They've won 3 of them, 3-year-olds. So it's quite a good spread on the 3-year-olds. They seem to have a good record. Majestic Glory, I thought she caught the eye a little bit in Newbury behind Wild Beauty, despite being really, really keen on seasonal return. I'm glad that connections have reached for the hood, and I'm glad they're stepping back up to a mile, because she's just not quite sharp enough for 7 furlongs, I don't think. I think she's an out-and-out miler. She had some really nice form last year, beating the likes of Alfladia, Wild Beauty, all over a stiff 7. So stepping up to a mile should definitely suit her. She's getting £12 off her older rivals. Puts her well clear on the ratings, and I just think there's good reason to expect improvement from Majestic Glory, who, like I say, offered plenty as a 2-year-old, and looked as though she's trained on at Newbury last time. So I hope she'd take a step forward from that, and fitting on the hood could just bring out further improvement. And she is clear top rated with this weight adjusted rating.
Yes, yeah, definitely. So like I say, with the 3-year-old angle there for Majestic Glory, with the hood, in the hope that she comes forward from that reappearance start up in trip as well. Like it as well. And another one at a fair price too, at 8-1 there for Majestic Glory for Daryl. So both of the lads taking on those at the head of the market in that 235. Right, the 310, we have the Group 3 Diomed Stakes for 3-year-olds and over. Again, over a mile and a half, a furlong, where Modern News is a very strong favourite and is currently near enough an even money shot here to bring up a hat-trick for Charlie Appleby. So, Daryl, starting with you, please. Is this favourite a good thing, or what angle do you take into this race?
I don't know. I don't know. I think he's short enough. In all honesty, I think this is a bit of a step up now. I thought it was good placing by Charlie Appleby last time at Windsor to win that listed contest. I mean, it wasn't much of a contest at all, was it? We know Bell Rock only really performs at Newmarket when he's fresh. Tempest is okay, but he's no world beater, is he? I just thought it was a bit of a soft opportunity, and I know it was a good effort from him, but you know, going back to that Newbury handicap win, Migration was obviously running him down something rotten, and the Rogue Bear was closing on him all the time at the line. I just wonder if he's been a little bit over-egged on that Windsor performance. I do like him; he's a nice horse. He's improving. I got nothing against him. It's just I kind of want to take him on with Mutasaabeq, and you got to find reasons to try and take these horses to the top of the market on. Mutasaabeq, I think there's loads more to come from him. I love him. He's a lovely, big, striding, gorgeous-looking horse. Split the 2 fillies last time at Sandown in the Bet 365 mile, lights on and alcohol-free. Now, we know alcohol-free drifted that day as he was going to need the run, but lights on sets a pretty useful standard, and he had to wait for a run that day. He was very unlucky not to get the job done, but it was his first performance before that made me think, God, this horse is stepping forward again. Now, when he beat Symbolise, I thought it was a very, very comfortable victory. Symbolise has that form that ties in with Aldari from the 2 big handicaps last season at Ascot. I think that's rock solid. And I think he's a horse that arrives here on the upgrade. He's improving. I think you've got to forgive the likes of Meg Allen, the poor performance at Chester last time, fine as sound. He's never quite been up to this sort of level previously. Sarkowski, we don't know what we're going to get from him. William Buick normally rides him every time he's over in the UK. And Escobar is a lovely horse, won really well last time, but I just feel he just lacks that little bit of star quality. So Mutasaabeq is going to be the one to take on the favourite.
Oh, like it then. Yes, like I say, try and take on the shorty where possible with Mutasaabeq then for Charlie Hills in second there, like at a decent price then to take on the favourite. Andrew, similar thoughts, or do you like Modern News?
Yeah, I mean, I couldn't get away from Modern News. I mean, I think 7 of the last 10 winners were stepping out of listed company rather than having had a run in a group race last time out. And you know, since he's been gelded, he's had 4 runs in fields of 8 or fewer runners. He's won them all. I mean, similar to Mutasaabeq, Daryl's pick. I mean, he's had 5 runs in small fields, 7 or less, and 4 wins and a next second when he was trying to come late off a steady pace at Sandown last time, which didn't suit behind lights on. I could see either of them winning. Zakuski, I was a bit more interested in than Daryl. I mean, the last time he ran in Britain, he won a listed race at Newmarket by 3.5 lengths. He's actually rated higher than Modern News, 112 to 111. We've seen plenty of times of late James Doyle winning on the Godolphin second string. And James Doyle's ridden this horse twice, winning on him on his racecourse debut at Kempton and then winning a Group 2 at Meydan. So, you know, maybe Zakuski will offer a bit of value, whereas everybody sort of lumps on the front 2. So I'll go for him around about 11 to 1.
Oh, cool then. So Zakuski at 11-1 in the 310 at Epsom for Andrew. Right up next, it is the Fast and Furious race, which is the Dash Handicap, a Heritage Handicap at 345. This is a race obviously for 3-year-olds and over the 5 furlongs, the fastest 5 furlongs in the land. So this really is going to be a brilliant spectacle. So Andrew, who is the fastest of the fast, please?
Yeah, cracking race as per usual. I mean, when I first looked at this race on Monday, I thought it's got to be Mokaatil. He's 3 from 4 at the track. Ian Williams has had only 8 runners in sprint handicaps at Epsom in the last 10 years. 5 of them have won for a profit of £46.50. He was drawn 13 when winning it last year. He's drawn 9 this time. I'm not too worried about that, given his come from behind style. There'll be a massive pace burn up on the stand side rail. He'll be switched across behind them, and with a bit of luck in running, he'll come through and give you a good run for your money. I'm actually going to go left field and tip a low drawn runner in this, though, which is Just Another Bottle from stall 1. Now, he ran a blinding race behind Black Rod at Newmarket last time. That was a stiff 6, which he doesn't stay. He struggles to stay in easy 6. So coming back to 5 is going to suit him. And if you look what's happened with the draw in this race in recent years, the stall 1 and stall 2 runners have done pretty well. We've had 3 stall 1 winners in the last 10 years, 33-1, 25-1, 16-1. Ornate looks like a stall 2, but the stall 1 was a non-runner that day, so he actually won from stall 1. You've had a 50-1 Stone Foker who won from stall 2. In the last 10 years, if you just put stalls 1 and 2 in your place pot, you'd have got through in 7 of 10 years. And when you were out of the frame, you were 6th, 6th, and 7th. And so with bookmakers offering lots of enhanced each way terms, it might be worth looking at Just Another Bottle from stall 1 and even Mountain Peak perhaps from stall 2, although that one less so. Mokaatil, Just Another Bottle, and the other one I liked at a massive price, stall 5, Lip Sync. No chance on the front end at York last time out. That was an illusionist race when it was a massive advantage to come from off the pace. And the front runner, Lookout Louis, was 9-2 favourite that day. He's finished the last of 12 and beaten about 100 yards. Now, some of the prominent races from that race have come out and run well since. So Lip Sync with Holly Doyle on could outrun her price here. So yeah, Mokaatil, Just Another Bottle, Lip Sync.
Oh, Lip Sync.
Don't rule out the low draws.
Don't rule out the low draws, like say, for even your play spots or anything, then that it would have kept you in it in the last few years. Lip Sync, the outsider of the entire field then, but also the draw then in one for Just Another Bottle might be overpriced, and Mokaatil in this race again then for Andrew. So yeah, Andrew's going with a 3-prong attack, Daryl. You're allowed to as well if you want.
I'll have 2. One of them is definitely Mokaatil.
Oh.
I just don't. He's just a horse that doesn't get this set up very often, and when he does, he very rarely misses the target. So I'm very surprised he's still on the mark in the 80s. Really, this is his ideal start. Harry Davis is back on board. I tipped him 2 starts ago when he beat the Greatest Showman, when he came flying through in April. Since then, I've kept a very close eye on him with an eye towards this meeting. At Goodwood, I thought he ran very, very respectable behind Russell, and at Chester, which just didn't suit him, I thought he ran very respectable there. Twice under a £7 claimer. They've obviously had this target completely in mind since he won back in April. I think he's got a massive shout. He just needs, like any of these races, you just need a bit of luck in running. If he gets it, I think he'll be coming home strong to ball. So Mokaatil is the number 1, and then Mulzim, a big push. I know Andrew quite likes this horse. He's been a right pain, this horse, but I just forgive anything he does after a break, even if it's like 50 days. Just forgive anything he does after a break. Other than that, he's got form figures of 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. Now he's still a maiden on turf, but he has gone very, very close. I mean, last year he ran Copper Knight York within half a length off a mark of 94. He's off a mark of 86 today. And it's a bit of a stab, but this horse is definitely talented on his day, and he definitely is far better than his rating of 86. It's just whether or not today is going to be his day. Like I say, he's got some acceptable runs on turf. I'm just going to take the chance, given those form figures, second time after the break, that he just might pop up. He's going to get a real strong pace to aim at, and hopefully he's on a Cohen days 33-1 Mulzim.
Oh, yeah, I was going to say big price then for Mulzim. Yeah, like I say, forgive him then on the back of that reappearance start last time out, Mulzim. But also keen on last year's winner as well for Daryl, with Mokaatil to go and defend his crown. Right, we have the big one up next. This is the race that we're actually finishing off for our scheduled races at 4:30. Yes, it is the 2022 Derby, which of course is a Group 1 for the 3-year-old Colts and fillies, but we don't have the fillies then in this year, but obviously certainly no geldings anyway. But it is the blue ribbon event of the turf season, as I say. And I don't know about you guys, but I think this year's renewal is wide open. And of course, Desert Crown has been the big talking horse coming into this year's Derby, heads the betting as the 7-4 favourite. But Daryl, 2022 Derby, who is your idea of the winner?
My idea of the winner is Walk of Stars. I've got a back 3 in the race. They're all big prices, don't worry. But my idea of the winner is Walk of Stars. I said the other week when this horse was running in the Lingfield trial, he was beaten by United Nations, that he's just progressing with every single start. He is a raw talent that is literally learning every single time he runs. Now, according to reports, he's come on quite significantly from that Lingfield run. I don't think at Lingfield he was beaten on ability. I think he was beaten by inexperience. He had no cover for much of the race. It was a good clip. Just as he was about to change his legs, United Nations just veered across him slightly. And I think he was a little bit intimidated and he hung to the right. And then he went to kick on again and then he hung again to the right. Now, I think it was just inexperience that cost him that day because he hit the line very, very hard. And he had plenty in the tank left, I think. So I'm hoping that he's going to take a step forward from that. I'm hoping that he'll get a good bit of cover in here. The step up and trip will help him. I think the soft ground will help him. So, look, I know he's inexperienced. This is the reason why William Buick's jumped off him, because I think he thinks he's too inexperienced for this. And that's why they probably supplemented Nation's Pride. But I can guarantee that Walk of Stars was probably their Derby horse at the beginning of the year. So they've supplemented Nation's Pride. William Buick's jumped on him thinking that Walk of Stars is probably not clued up enough for this race at this moment in his career. But I'm not going to let that put me off because I think he's a very, very talented horse. In terms of Desert Crown, I think he's very, very good. It just worries me that he's gone from winning a maiden at Nottingham, recording a Racing Post rating of 94, to all of a sudden winning a Dante, recording a Racing Post rating of 120. But that jump is ridiculously big. I think only Camelot in the last 10 years has come close to recording an RPI of 120 before the Derby, and he recorded 118. So, like, it's a mean feat to do that. It's ridiculous. And I just wonder if we're going to look back at this Dante in a few years and think that was an awful race. I mean, Bluegrass was only beaten 5 lengths. He hasn't even got an entry in the Derby. Dark Moon Rising's in there. He's pretty exposed on the all weather. King Max is eight lengths behind him. We spoke about King Max in the 2-year-old form last year. I just really wonder if it was as good as it visually looked. Now he's entitled to improve. He's entitled to come on. Of course, he is. Sir Michael Stout's a master. He's rightfully at the top of the market. But this track is far, far different to what Epsom is. York is far, far different to what Epsom is. A nice flat track York. He's going to have a completely different test today. I just think 7-4 is crazy, really, and he could go and bolt up at that price for all I care, really. I don't know how you can really back him at 7-4. I really don't. I think there's a lot of potential in this field. Star of India is a horse that I now do like. I know I said I didn't like him last week.
You've come back around. Come back around to my way of thinking.
It's about 28 times, and I just thought he didn't really know he was in a race until the final 100 yards, and he hit the line really hard. I like his attitude. He's gritty. I had to forgive the run at Newmarket. I think he's going to go very, very well, and I think he'll fine. So I like Star of India. And Masekela, I think, is the forgotten horse in the field. I think 50 to 1's crazy, really. This horse obviously had a very productive 2-year-old campaign last year. It's the only horse in the field that's got within, got closest to native trail, beating a short head in the superlative last year. No other horse has got anywhere near that. And I just think that people have written him off for that Newmarket listed return run behind Iden, when he just looked like he shaped like he needed the run. This step up, he's bred to improve as a 3-year-old. He's bred to improve for a step up and trip. And yet all of a sudden he's just a forgotten about horse. Now he might run a terrible race here, but I think 50 to 1's far too big for Masekela. So Masekela, Walk of Stars, Star of India, a couple of quid each way. Hope I'll get in the frame. Be embarrassed when Desert Crown probably bolts up.
No, but I'm in such agreement where he could well be an absolute freak of a horse. You know, the Twinkle in Sir Michael Stout's eye and all of those cliches that have been bounded about would suggest that he is a special one and he is a bit of a freak on that basis. But I think it is fairly wide open, as I said, sort of introducing this race. Say Masekela, huge price there. I can see 66 to 1, who has been very quickly forgotten about. But I'm happy that the stars are aligning for you and you're siding with the 2 stars. But Star of India, because Star of India is my selection then at an each way price as well. I think you're really going to need to stay this year's Derby. I know it's a cliche and I know that it goes without saying that you need stamina, but I think that you really are going to need to stay it this year. And Star of India, he will just keep finding. He's as genuine as they come. So I love that horse. So yeah, Star of India each way then for me. Andrew, how do you play the Derby?
Yeah, cracking renewal. I thought Desert Crown was rock solid. I mean, stopped with Dante 2 out. The commentators said, you know, it's anybody's race. They're all in a line, aren't they? And he's quickened to put distance between them. I mean, just look at the size of him, though, you do think, well, maybe Epsom's undulations aren't going to be ideal. So, you know, do I want to pay 7 to 4 to find out? Not particularly. If he drifts to, I mean, he's on the drift already as we record this, 15 to 8 in the place. He'll probably be 9 to 4 on the day. I might have a little saver if he gets to that sort of price. But I've bet 2 horses, like Daryl, big prices. Sunny Liston for Charles Hills. Who's a son of a lawman and could well appreciate this longer trip. Was 3rd at Chester last time out behind your Star of India, and then trying to come from off the pace on that pace favouring track, not ideal. You know, I thought given the form of the Charles Hills yard as well, he could sneak into the frame. And the other one is an Andrew Baldwin one, but not the one Daryl's backed. It's Hukum. A son of Territories who's bred to appreciate the step up to 1.5 miles. Now, he's a keen sort, and you look at it, his only win came in a field of 16 runners when he beat Dawn of Liberation. That was at York last season, where he's come from well off the pace. And again, he's got form of the Native Trail. He was a 20 to 1/3 on his comeback in the Craven Stakes. But again, you know, he raced keenly that day, as he often does in small fields. Last time out behind Nation's Pride, raced keenly, finished a well-beaten second, but with a big field, strong pace. If he settles, which, you know, hopefully he will, because he's drawn in stall 3, you've got plenty of pace around him. Royal Patronage in stall 1 is likely to take them along. You've got an O'Brien horse who generally makes the running, who's drawn low as well. That's Stone Age, of course. So, you know, if you can switch him off early, I mean, the same owners and same trainer, of course, had 50 to 1 second a couple of years ago, didn't they? The name escapes me at the moment. They'll come back to me.
Because Marquand gave him an absolute beat.
Khalifa Sat.
That's it, yeah.
That was the one. So, yeah, Huyamal's 150 to 1. 300 on the exchanges. So, you know, with enhanced place terms, you know, you can get beaten 10 lengths and still collect and make a nice few quid. I'd rather back Huyamal each way than back Desert Crown at this stage.
Oh my goodness. If Huyamal comes in then at 100 to 1, holy goodness me, you will be having Platinum Jubilee celebrations for weeks, Andrew.
I'll buy a flag and wave it in your honour, King.
Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, it is all in my honour, to be fair. This entire weekend is all about me, as you can see. But yeah, and Sunny Liston then to potentially reverse that former Star of India from last time out for Andrew then in the Derby. Right, Andrew, back to you, please, for anything else from Epsom on Saturday.
I've got to mention Mr. Wagyu, who goes in the 6 furlong handicap at 550. Now, the recent rain's not been ideal for him, but it is a horse you can set your clock by. He's had 26 runs in June and July. He's won 13 of them. You'd have made over 50 quid if you bet him blind at SP. He's had 35 starts outside of the June-July period. He's lost every single one. So he's not exactly shown a great deal in his 3 runs so far this year, but we're getting into time of year territory for Mr. Wagyu. So I'm going to throw a few quid at him.
Perfect. Mr. Wagyu, horse number 6 in the 550 at Epsom. Daryl, anything else from Epsom on Saturday?
Yeah, at 5:15. I like Solent Getaway. Yeah, I think this horse loves Epsom, and just the way he finished off on seasonal return behind a horse called Going Gone, and the race has worked out quite well, suggests that there's plenty more to come from him. If he's off the same mark, I'll just write off his run at Chester last time. It was too bad to be true, and it should be underestimated a little bit in the market as opposed to being well fancied at Chester last time.
Cool. And that's Solent Gateway. I thought you said Silent Getaway then. I was like, who's that? Solent Gateway then. Horse number 7 in the 5:15 at Epsom. And Daryl, back to you, please, for anything from anywhere else.
No, I've got nothing. Actually, yes, I have. In a 3:16 at Musselburgh, the Scottish Sprint Cup, Makanah.
Ooh.
Doubling again.
Okay. Right. And that's in the 3:21, was that? Yeah. At Musselburgh. Makanah then for Daryl up there. Andrew, anything from anywhere else?
Not for me, no.
No talk. Right. Nap, Andrew, please.
Does it have to be on Saturday? Can it be on Friday?
Honestly, I have no idea, so make up your own rules.
Well, if we can include Friday, I'll go for Commander Straker in the opener at Epsom, the 2 o'clock. If it's going to be Saturday, I'll go for our old friend, Mr. Wagyu.
Oh, okay then. So 2 naps then across 2 days for Andrew. Daryl, can you beat that?
Yeah, if it's going to be Friday, it's going to be This Is Us in the second race at Epsom 2:35. If it's going to be Saturday, it's going to be Majestic Glory in the 2:35 also.
Oh, I like it a lot then. And I don't know what to do because I'm taking on the favourites in the Derby and the Oaks, so I can't decide with a nap in there. So I'll go Warhorse then in the 2 o'clock at Epsom on Saturday, just the one for me. So thank you so much to the lads for all of their hard work as per usual. Hopefully you've enjoyed this week's show. Thank you to our sponsors, SBK, of course, as usual as well. And we will speak to you again next week. Enjoy the celebrations, everyone.